What's up, guys? You know what night it is. Wednesday night, off-centered with Dustin, the artist formerly known as the Personal Finance Dad, but forever will be known as Sports Card Dad. And tonight is a special night because this is the end. This is the end of Off-Centered as we know it. It's not just the last episode of the year. It will be the last episode as it is structured right now with me and Dustin. I am giving the reins to Dustin, and he will be doing whatever he wants with it. If he wants to turn it into something else, he can do that. But the copyrighted name and the cool logo and everything I designed will soon be Dustin's. And so
all the patents have been switched over into my name. It was
the
very
lawyers
expensive. It was expensive.
The lawyers have been meeting nonstop, a lot of negotiation, but this will be a cool episode because we have a lot of guests, some of our favorite guests, definitely not all of our favorite guests, but some of our favorite guests over the last couple of years, including Andy, Fantasy Football Card Quest, or now The Quest, who is my good friend down in Tampa, who I actually introduced cards into cards, and he's been running with it, especially in football, for the last couple of years. We got Jeremy Lee coming on, who's been a good friend of ours for the last few years as well. Austin Carlson of Carlson Cards, who is just a great dude up in the Midwest, who has been hosting his own card show every couple of weeks and building his own YouTube station as well. We might have a couple other appearances. I know a Vegas Fine 777 will be on as well. So let's say hi to a couple of you guys in the audience. Why don't you say hi, Dustin?
Well, first off, I've got my video camera hooked up to my Commodore 64. How's my picture coming through? Is it okay?
It's vintage Dustin, which is I can count all 94 of the pixels.
It's 8-bit or whatever. Let's go down the list here. Andrew Marks with a poem or a song or something. I'm trying to figure this out.
It's a haiku.
This is one of those questions, like, I think Brad had asked me, this was like a year ago, like, how many people, when you think about how many subscribers and stuff, like, how many of them are serial killers? Andrew Marks.
You got to be less obvious than that, Andrew. Come
on, man.
Like AJ Rose. You would never suspect he's a serial killer.
You know what? We got the show through your move to San Diego. You had been talking about that move for a long time. And so we got it through. Hoff Van Dam, Brendan Ryan.
Real quick though. AJ, you got to change your IG to Card Squid San Diego. Japan is now in the last chapter of your life. So now welcome back to the West Coast. Good to see you, Hoff Van Dam.
Good to see you. Philly Joe. Corey Magamal, Alex, Global Sports Card Investors, one of the OGs. Will, First Brady and Giselle, now this. It's too much. I know this is really, it's like, could 2022 have gotten any worse? Well, it sure can. Welcome to Off-Centered.
Hey, we're just setting it up so 2023 will be better. But I doubt Tom Brady and Giselle had nearly the banter as we do.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I think it was pretty cold over the last 12 months, I'm going to assume. We got Chris. Okay, Chris is here. So
he is here. You're welcome to join the other side, not just the chat. I think who'd that happen with? Was it Mama Breaks?
With AG.
AG. Oh, okay, that was funny. Yeah.
You were invited to the actual stream, right?
That was the first female we had on, and we're like, first female and the last one, based on that kind of thing. But it was funny. It was all just jokes.
Michael Ham, good to see you. Cards to car.
Go Bucks, Michael Ham, even though it's been brutal.
Yeah, John Williams, go Bills. I know you're the Bills guy. I think I have that right. Josh Allen, anyway. Michael Stone, good to see you. Blue Thunder TD. And Toa. Toa's he's an OG as well.
There he is. Nice. Well, let's see what we got. I'd be careful about handing the reins to Dusty with him backing off the next door neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, because my Wi-Fi drops. Yeah, I don't get it either, man. I have really good internet. You know what it is? It's all the kids in here. I've got 40 people that live in this house, and they're all on their phones and everything, and I think that's what screws it up.
Yeah,
but God willing, we'll get through this hour.
Yeah, seriously. Well, it'll actually be better if one of our Wi-Fi connections drops, just because that's so typical.
That's how the show ends. Is both of us like, oh, like frozen.
Yeah. It's just
Like,
it's a timestamp. That's like literally a timestamp of the shows. We're just frozen there. And even though I don't have to use the restroom now, I think it'd be appropriate if I do have to use the restroom at some point. But I think Chris Vegas Fines is going to join us soon, and then we have a whole bunch of others. But dude, it's been fun, man. It's been a great couple of years. Definitely the highlight of. I mean, look, when I got back into sports cards, this was a couple of weeks before COVID, and this was without having any sort of social circle in LA. This is after going through a lot of really tough stuff. Like you know it. Dustin knows it. Andy knows it. A couple other people know it. But a lot of stuff, relationship wise, career wise, investment, financially, all that kind of stuff. And so, cards was like the ultimate escape, and it was something to put my mind on, especially when COVID happened and everything got way worse except for this cool little hobby. And then all of a sudden, it's like death, despair, sickness, just close down businesses, collapse, and then there's having fun and talking about cards and attaching it to our favorite athletes in our childhood. Let's see here. Coleman is texting me right now. Okay, he is doing something else, but he'll be on in a bit. But yeah, go on.
Well, and before we kind of go back into time a little bit too, let me say that the show will carry on my channel. It'll still be bi-weekly. It'll go back to, we were alternating before Brad stopped doing just regular videos. And so then we kept it on here so that he would still have stuff going on his channel. So it'll be back on my channel every other week to start, and it'll just be kind of rotating hosts and guests, and until we kind of figure it out from there. It'll be like, what is it when Kelly Ripa has like a different host every week or something, when they're trying out different people or whatever? It might be like that forever. I might just be Kelly Ripa, like Michael Strahan. Who's the guy that got kicked? Like Michael Strahan got kicked off, and then they ended up with somebody, I don't know. Anyway, you get the point.
So you could just be on there, be like, come on, the viewership's low. Is this all you got? Is this all you got? You're out.
I just heckle each person that comes on each week.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I'll bring Chris on. Chris is in the waiting room, Vegas Fine, so we'll bring him on in a second. But yeah, Hobby Champs. Honestly, man, when I think of cards, dude, I love the volatility. I love the strategy. And for me, it was hard to be as interested when the flipping side, especially like the flipping online side, lost existence or like wasn't as relevant. And you couldn't really play that game anymore, because that was where my mind really would get lost in, this guy is an underrated third-year guy, and I think he'll change teams, and this will be a quick move, and turning it into a game. It was more of like that game that I really enjoyed. And even as a kid, though, when I collected, the memories I have collecting, I don't remember ripping anything and getting a great card. The memories I have are setting up my cards on a table across from another kid, like another friend, and then trading, and then looking at the Beckett guide and seeing like, all right, this card's $2, this one's $1.50, and this one's 50 cents. Will you take this for this one card that's worth $4? And that was always like the part that really interested me the most. So yeah, I definitely lost interest. And the last couple of months, it's been about trying to find an opportunity with the company or with a way to make content that would be exciting again. But I think at the end of it, cards have got to be fun. So whether you're ripping, whether you're collecting, whether you're creating content or whatever it is, breaking, if it's not fun, then you got to do what's right for you, because there's a lot of other things in life that aren't fun. So you got to make sure that something here is interesting you.
Brad, and really the one thing he hasn't said yet is he went and built out a dating app that was for card collectors only. And unfortunately, it was like the user base was 97% men and 3% women. Just like the YouTube analytics, there just wasn't enough balance there. So it was a little, stifled the growth there on the app. So,
yeah, there 75 men and 4 people that identified as women, but I'm pretty sure they were men as well. Anyway,
actually, and Jiggy says there, you didn't get a Best Actor Golden Globe nomination. Really, you're just going out on top. You were in the feature film, and you're done now. You've already done everything.
Dude, hey, if you want to know how rough life was, watch Behind the Card and look at how I looked. That was a year. That was March 2021 that it was filmed. So that was a year after COVID. Living in one of the most locked down areas in the world, which is Los Angeles. There's a couple countries, couple cities that are more locked down, but I mean that was just me at my worst physically. So
it's going to be a lot of fun. The fun part of this is going to be in 25 years when there's another cycle, when there's another card cycle and the flip game comes back, and Brad is going to be all gray and join back the off-centered show. We'll bring him back.
So
that's going to be a reunion. It's going to be a reunion.
I will say, I mean, if I leave, then I could continue the name Comeback Card Investor because I have something to come back to.
Don't change a thing. Don't shut down the channel. Do nothing.
This is funny though. It's like the fact that everything's open now, and I'm single in the middle of Los Angeles, and there's business I'm working on right now with an investor. A successful entrepreneur, an investor who I met via sports cards, ironically, but it's not a sports card related business. It's a men's health related business, which as we get closer to launching it and all that, maybe I can share it with Dustin and maybe do like a 90 days later, what happened. And maybe I look disheveled, even worse.
What's going to happen is we're going to see Brad on Selling Sunset or whatever with the two brothers. And you're going to be the only guy realtor outside of those two guys on the show. And all the girls are going to be like, what? There's a guy. Who is this new guy? It's going to be Brad's going to be like, now that you've gotten the acting, you got that acting bit in there. You're ready to roll, man.
Hey, you never know, man. And I worked out with Jason Oppenheim the other day, had like a meal with Brett. Had lunch with Brett the other day. So I'm hanging out. Dude, here's a cool thing. I'm hanging out with them more and more, and they're just in the neighborhood. And I met them via sports cards. And so it's kind of one of those like, who would have thought? But anyway, I do want to bring.
You never know where life's going to take you, man.
Yeah, you never know, man. And like back to Brendan's comment, dude, a lot of guys in the card space are married, have a very steady career. Everything's like coasting where you don't have volatility in these other areas of life, moving from city to city, or careers taking you all over the place, or, you're single and you want to prioritize dating and finding your person. And so if all that's steady, then cards is a pretty cool thing to come to and have a group of guys that are also in a similar situation. But when everything else is in flux, it's kind of like another thing in flux is a bit overwhelming. So I want to prioritize this business that I'm launching. I want to put the horse before the cart. And then who knows, maybe the business does really well because I'm partnering with a very high level entrepreneur, someone I really like and respect, and maybe it does really well. And then all of a sudden when I'm coming back, I'm only buying $5,000 cards on up, and it's only for my collection. So, you never know. But anyway, I appreciate all you guys.
You've got first dibs. If you need to roll back into host status back on off centered, you just let me know.
You know what I would love to do is I would love to have a good host joining you and then be like, Dustin said I can walk in and take your spot.
We have that show where we've already moved on, but you're coming back in and it's just an awkward exchange for an hour.
Sorry, Jeff Wilson.
We'll do that show. Don't think for a second we won't do that show.
Sorry, Gary V. I know you partnered with Dustin on this, but Dustin said I can come back, so here I am. Anyway, look, I definitely want to bring on all the guests. We're going to have several of them. And we didn't invite everyone we would have liked to. I think we have like 5 right now, though. So this guy you may have recognized or seen if you were in sports cards a couple of years ago and watching YouTube back in, I guess, late 2020 and then into 2021. But this is our friend Chris Leather, a.k.a. Vegas Finds. What's up, Chris?
How's it going?
What's up, man?
Not much. Same old. You know how it goes. We've all been here through the COVID outtakes, as Brad was mentioning.
The backdrop from heaven.
Yeah. The backdrop from Top Shot. Let's be honest.
Wait. So you have that backdrop and you're not doing content?
Well, every time, that's the lifelong question. When is the content coming back? And every time I get around to like thinking I'm going to do it, I'm like, I'm winding up the Jack in the Box. The clown never pops out. I've heard there are other clowns out there making content, though. And, I do feel like the head clown should come back at some point. I mean, I want to. I enjoy making content. Obviously, I'm passionate about this stuff, too. So yeah, there's no reason not to. It's literally just like 800 things pulling at my brain, and I have to get it in front of the right place, because I spend like 4 hours sometimes making those videos. You know, there's outtakes, there's little snaps and snips and this and that. Yeah.
And I will say, man, if you've thought of creating content for YouTube, I know, Dustin, you're pretty much just like, here's the setup. I talk about something, a little couple clips here and there. But if you want to do high production stuff or something that's very thought through, it can be hours. I mean, 4 hours per video was like me at the end when I had a template.
Yeah.
But that one video, which was what sports cards to invest in, like Sports Cards 101, dude, I think that was 20 plus hours. It was
crazy.
It was so much, but also I'm not an ad lib guy. Like I know, Dustin, both of you guys are good at just talking extemporaneously. And for me, I'll just get lost. I know Jeff Wilson's good at it as well, but for me, I need every word written down or I'll just keep going. And so it would be on average, 5 to 7 hours of video, but then that one video, thank God it did really well. That was like 20 plus hours. But during COVID, during quarantine, you don't have anything to do. And this is the only thing you can really spend your time and energy on that's not negative.
Yeah.
It was worth it. It's just, it's a big commitment.
It is. And I enjoy it and I care, but it's just, too many directions. And I found that, well, we've been selling a lot of stuff on Whatnot too. The eBay stores running. And it's not just because Top Shot tanked. It's just because I need something to do other than meditate. It's just that. But I think there's actually a lot of, a lot of headway being made in the NFT space now that they've crashed and they're kind of like figuring things out. There are a lot of products that are coming out with both a physical item and an NFT. And I think that kind of stuff can sort of bridge the gap. So if NFTs are going to exist and be successful, whether they're called this or that, it's going to have to come from some sort of physical counterpart that kind of brings the physical people in. So there's been some of that too.
Wait, so what has been your focus now? Every time we talk to you, you have your hands in a lot of things like records. Obviously, you were the first person in Top Shot that I knew of, and you were even saying, "Hey, NBA Top Shot's going to blow up," and this was before it did blow up, like really big.
Right. Yeah.
And I know you did quite well there. You were definitely first, but what's been your focus now the last, let's say, 6 months?
Well, it's tough to say. There's a lot of things that are grabbing my attention, but records, I think, are still very good. I think you can still find them cheap in the wild. I think there are jazz records and original pressings of records that literally are worth like $500 to $1,000 that you might be able to find somewhere in some guy's collection for $20. So I mean, there's a lot there. I'm sending in graded collectibles of all types. I mean, action figures and comic books are kind of slow, but you can actually get your cards graded in a reasonable period of time. I mean, the last PSA order I had took 1.5 years, but I just got an SGC order back of about 60 cards in 8 days. Like literally they're back 8 days. That's crazy. The grades are accurate. The slabs are nice, so I think that my focus has been lately just trying to figure out what my focus is, because I think I have a little bit too much diversity, and I think I need to put a couple of things in front, like a priority, not necessarily horse before the cart like you're talking about, but at least be linear. I think that would aid me, because we've been doing a lot of shows on Whatnot, selling records. Those shows go well. Sell high-end comic books. I bought a collection of Daredevil and Amazing Spider-Man, like a $7,000 collection or something like that. That went well because it's higher-end stuff. But if you're just trying to sling like, Magic card or comic book singles or lower-end stuff, you really have to have a following. So you kind of have to tie everything together to be successful at that stuff. But yeah, just trying to figure it out, really.
Yeah, man.
To answer Brennan real quick, I think what I'll probably do is just kind of have a few people on, a mix of people, on Off-Centered, and we'll just see how it goes. Maybe sometimes it'll be just one other person, but maybe we have 2 or 3 on at a time. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I thought that you guys were going to announce on the show that I was taking Brad's place. I thought that
you're like, that's the only reason why I joined.
All right, guys. It's a surprise. It's me and Chris. Curveball.
Dustin, see you later, Dustin. Look at that. 2 guys with cameras you can see. Doesn't he look like he's just fading in and out of reality? Kind of. Look at him.
Hold on. My Commodore 64 is flickering a little bit. 1 second. Let me just, the floppy disk is stuck.
Are you making the final leap home, Dr. Sam Beckett? All right.
But dude, you know what's interesting though is when you mentioned having a focus, I was thinking of
Yeah.
a couple things on my end too, because my focus has been scattered, and yet the most results I've ever had in my life was
Yeah.
when I was hyper focused on one thing and I
One
said no
thing.
to pretty much anything else. And that's actually when the cards, like the content around cards, started for me, and I was able to grow the YouTube channel quite
Yeah.
quickly. It also helped because that was a good influx of people into the hobby, but it was like focus plus the timing of the hobby produced really good results. But I was dabbling a lot, and it's like taking a magnifying glass and trying to start a fire in 6 places at the same
At
time.
once. Yeah, totally
Yeah,
get that.
it doesn't work. But if you hold the magnifying glass in one spot, grow the fire, the first fire, then the flame will eventually spread. And so I'm going to be using that towards this business, which is also why I can't even occupy anything mentally, or really honestly mentally, that doesn't have to do with this business. And maybe that, again, the fire will fan so big that it will lead me back to creating content and cards, or at least buying some really cool cards that I couldn't afford now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, as long as you're happy and you're doing something that engages your mind, because that's part of my problem is that I'll work on something and then I'll get kind of bored with it. And I have all these other interests, but it's like I can't make, vinyl record YouTube content and then collectible content. I just can't, you can't do it all. So it's just, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out where I want to kind of be linear and kind of move towards that. But yeah, it was awesome having you guys bring me on here. I just wanted to say that it's sad to see you go, Brad. We haven't seen too many videos from you, but they're always well done and they're always a good watch. So it's going to be, we look forward to you returning, coming back.
I appreciate it, man. And we're gonna bring Andy on now. You can linger too. I think this holds up to 5 people on on the StreamYard. So
Yeah,
and thanks for joining us too, man. It's really cool
absolutely.
to have some of the OGs and the people that I started with during COVID, which is like such a crazy, special, memorable time to see everyone's
like another lifetime
face.
ago, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't
It's
it seem
crazy.
it seems like 20 years ago, and it's like 2 years ago.
You know what's funny? I'll just tell you this before you
Yeah.
bring the other down, just real quick. So funny. Whenever we're going, like, I don't watch too much TV, but when I'm going to watch TV, or the wife and I were looking for something to watch, if it's pre-COVID, we just don't watch it. We just declare it. Oh, that's pre-COVID. It doesn't count. It doesn't exist. It's bullshit. Give me the post-COVID stuff. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. But whenever we go to watch a show, it's just like, it's pre-COVID. It's not relevant. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's very strange. I don't
know if you guys get that. Well, not necessarily for like good 80s movies. It's not like E.T. That's pre-COVID, but
Yeah.
Right on, man. Let me add
right.
Andy real quick. This is Andy, aka The Quest, aka my good friend from Tampa. From
Wow.
I guess when we were 12 years old.
When I first met Andy, Tom Brady wasn't even a buck. Like it was that far back.
That's a cheap card. Not even a buck.
I hope this is good, Brad, because I was just getting ready to dig into a marathon, man.
Oh, well, dude, it's funny, man. Your live streams, when I look at, because we share the same StreamYard account, sometimes I'll look at the live streams, it'll be like 2 hours, 46 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Andy, why is the StreamYard bill $300 this month?
if we got charged by the minute or by data, it would be insane. It's like 2.5 hours. And the whole time I'm thinking, how many restroom breaks were there? And there was probably 0, knowing you. And then I would have like 6 restroom breaks in a 2.5 hour stream.
You don't break the seal, Brad. It's rule number 1.
Yeah. I think I held my bladder too much as a kid because I was afraid of certain teachers, and it completely destroyed my body. And that's the reason why I use the restroom every 45 minutes. But anyway, what's up with you, man? Good to see you. Our Bucks are not doing so well, but slightly better than Dustin's Saints. Tell us a bit about your station if you're not familiar with the Quest. And I would love to hear from you.
Oh, my station's for the football card degenerates. It's for the diehards. I was actually just getting ready to rewatch the 2020 playoffs where we played the Saints in the divisional round, sent Drew Brees off to his retirement. And then I was going to watch the Super Bowl, man. I'm living in the past, dude. What do you want me to do? It's like watching the Bucks right now is pretty
still
brutal.
Watching the Saints Super Bowl DVD from 2009. I'll be probably watching it in 20 years. Anyway, go ahead.
And you got a good display too, man. I remember day one when you set up this YouTube thing. I was helping you get into YouTube and telling you to get this set up. And then now look at your backdrop. You have all these Bucks cards, Bucks football. Yeah, tell us about your journey on YouTube and what you're really excited about.
Yeah, man. So when I first started, I literally had like a picture of a green on a golf course, a black diamond golf course, and then a chalkboard and like this Michael Jordan in all three different phases, you know, the Bulls, the White Sox, and then his other Bulls jersey. And now it's evolved into this. So, and you were actually, you know, the spark that ignited the fire that is the football card quest today, man. I mean, the football card quest that has grown into what it is today. I mean, we're still putting out videos every week. We're still very much in the flip game, man. Football cards are really hot right now, Brad.
It's the Brad coaching tree.
Yes, my disciple. Here we got my nemesis Dustin, my disciple Andy. But that's cool, man.
Andy's like Belichick to your Parcells, though. He's like already won all the titles. He's won more titles.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, I'm happy he went further than me, but deep down I'm like, no, I'm not at all. But I will say, man, when we got back into cards, because I think I got in a month before you, and then I was telling you about it like a couple of weeks, and then you saw the first jersey, or like you saw a Chris Godwin jersey card or something, and you're like, holy crap, this is way cooler than what we had when we were kids. And it was really your enthusiasm about the Bucks and about football cards and creating content that really gave me fuel to keep going and to build something. And so, yeah, I want to give you credit for that, and thank you for that support when I did need it a lot, actually.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And no, like seriously, thank you, because you sent me that Chris Godwin RPA you got for $14 off ComC. You're like, I don't even have to take this. I'm going to turn around. If someone wants to pay me $40 for it, they could take it. I'm like, what is this? I need to know right now, you know, and it just kind of goes hand in hand. Like there was nothing on YouTube that was really good about, you know, taking fantasy football and then parlaying that with the football card markets, the different marketplaces and everything. And so, yeah, man, you really like ignited that fire. And then I just kind of ran with it. And yeah, I can't even watch my videos that I put out when I first started the channel. Literally, guys, like, I was recording videos with my iPhone 6. I think that was a joke for a long time, because I was literally recording with an iPhone 6 that had like one of those lapel mics hooked up, and like a 10-year-old Apple laptop. And now we've got like a ring light in the mic here and all the cards in the background, and we're doing live streams. I got sound effects going, you know, so.
And what's crazy is you were embarrassed about that, and yet an iPhone 6 is still two versions newer than what Dustin uses today.
I can tell, man. The video.
It looks like he's using an iPod to stream.
No, I always use my Commodore 64. I only run live streams on my Commodore 64. There's no reason for me to upgrade. It works just fine.
Oh man. Okay. Well. I appreciate it, Andy. Dude, stay on. I don't know how many people I can have on this stream at the same time, but we got Jeremy joining us as well. So I wanted to bring him on. Definitely one of our close friends for a couple of years, one of my earliest supporters, especially from a diehard collector perspective, where I was seen as the root of all evil. And so to have a collector that actually, I guess, like the fact that I was just being myself and owning what I could own and not owning what I didn't know. That meant a lot. So Jeremy, great to have you on. Appreciate all the support so far, and tell us a bit about what's up with you.
Oh, Raleigh AI just popped on. Go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead.
Well,
I owe you a lunch. All right, go ahead, Jeremy.
He's not real. He's AI. He can't eat, so it's okay.
Well, hi everybody. What a great crew here. And Brad, I don't know what to say. I actually thought this episode was starting like right now, so I just went and kind of read through the comments, and I guess I'm just getting caught up, and that you're moving on, or you're retiring from the show, this particular show. I don't know the exact details, so I'd love to hear it, but I'm sure you've already gone through it. But I'm happy to be here. As you said, I've been a fan of yours, Brad, because you are real. You know, you don't pretend to be anything you're not. You're just honest about your journey and coming into the hobby. I think you always provided a great perspective for somebody who's new to come in and follow along with you and kind of learn the hobby with you. And however you approached it, whether it was, flipping, grading, whatever you were doing, you were just always honest about it. And I really enjoyed that about your content. Even though I'm an experienced hobbyist and collector, it's just fun to see somebody come in with enthusiasm and enjoyment, and also just try to share what you're doing and spread the knowledge. So I don't know exactly what you're moving on to, if you're retiring your channel, what you're doing, but
it's
I
for
think
sale.
the
You want to buy
hobby.
it?
What's that?
Nothing. I said it's for sale if you want to buy it. I'm
I
going to
think
change the banner to "for sale." Email for details.
I think the hobby content landscape without you is going to be just a little bit less as good as it is now. So
Fraction of a percent, yeah.
Less good. So
what I'll do is I'll just pull clips from Brad's videos and I'll just chunk them into my videos, so it's kind of like it's still happening.
So this is what I'll give permission to everyone. Chop up my videos and make it B-roll in your videos. So any weird faces, any weird noises, any lines that you want to clip out, I could live eternally through new content if you just use my face and name and things I say as your B-roll.
Yeah, I wasn't really kidding. That's probably going to happen.
I'd be honored to be someone's B-roll.
You could just turn him into like annoying orange and have him on off center still, Dustin. You could just talk to him and they'll just see his face and the mouth moving. What do you mean? Just get in there.
A Brad puppet.
Yeah, exactly. You can do it.
So I do want to learn a bit about what you have going on, Jeremy, because from day one up until now, you've had a couple different ventures that you've gotten involved in. And your station has grown. You have a lot of, sponsorships. You have your hand in a lot of different things. So just catch us up as to what's been new with you over the last, let's say, 3 to 6 months.
I guess, the biggest thing that's new for me is that I did join tag grading at the beginning of September. So that's something new. That's a life-changing thing for me, not just like a content thing. That's kind of what I'm doing for my career now, and I'm really excited about that. Content wise, things are going to continue doing what I've been doing. Sports cards live on Saturdays. You mentioned sponsors, Collectible, the fractional company. I do a show for them on Sundays. I cover the PWCC monthly premier auction on one Thursday night a month, which will be tomorrow. So that's I'm continuing doing what I've been doing. I love doing the content. I love talking to people and interacting with the chat on my channel, and I'm going to continue to do that. I have no plans to slow down. I just enjoy it so much.
Right on, man. Very cool. Well, if you'll be at the Mint Collective, I definitely would like to still go there, because that was my favorite show, and I believe you and Tag will be at that show, and maybe some others here in Southern California, correct?
Yeah, we'll Tag. Tag will be at the Burbank show in Ontario in February during the I believe it's Super Bowl weekend. So I don't know how that. I don't know. Andy, I know everyone, y'all love football, so that'll be fun. I think I'm looking forward to that one. Tag will be set up at the Burbank show again. Mint Collective, same thing. I will be there. The Mint Collective is promoted by IMG and Peyton Manning's Omaha Productions, but also Collectible. So I'm sure that I'll be there doing some stuff with Collectible. And then I do believe that Tag, we will also be set up there showcasing our technology and our product and service. So I should be at those shows, and the Toronto Expos again, and all that, the National as well. Right, and I hope to see you at as many of these as you'll still come to, Brad. If
it's local. Yeah, if it's local. I mean, here's the thing. I'm spoiled here in Southern California. Like taxes, homelessness, there's a couple problems, but in terms of card scene and things that are within a 50-mile radius, there's so much around here that it's tough to get out of the bubble.
Yeah. Well, it'll be nice
which is basically him being nice, saying I'll never see you again.
As long as it's within 50 miles.
Sounds like it.
51 miles. 50 miles is like 3-hour commitment, so
but it's one thing, Brad, since joining Tag, I have committed to being in LA about a third of my time. I live in Canada. I'm in Calgary. I'm north of Montana, but coming to LA, for whatever 8 to 10 days a month, I'm sure I'll be able. We can hook up and meet at a card shop or go for lunch or something one time when I'm there. I'd enjoy that. Hopefully, we can make that happen.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm not leaving my bubble, so we'll definitely link up. Michael Ham asked about Culture Collision. Did you mention that one?
I didn't mention it. I don't think the tag will be at Culture Collision this year. It's possible. And hi, Michael Ham. Always good to see you. I just don't know. But right now, I would lean towards no, just mostly because it's on the tag is based out of Los Angeles by LAX, and I believe Culture Collision is in Atlanta, so it's kind of across the country. So I don't know. Maybe last minute we'll have some people there, but I just don't know, unfortunately.
All right, sounds good, man. Let me add. We got two more guests. We have Coleman, who right now is just a couch. I don't know if that is a couch. I'm not sure what I'm looking at.
We're just a leopard.
In comes the
is it
dummy.
a caterpillar?
Yeah.
It's a bit feminine for what I imagined, even for Coleman.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going well. I appreciate the comments on the interior design. Thank you. I'll have to consult with you next time before I get it all done. But yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm in Arizona right now, so I'm not at home right now. So yeah, just been busy working on this Airbnb.
So yeah, if you guys are not familiar with Coleman, he's a full-time flipper. He's been flipping cards for 4 years now, something like that, like 2018.
Yeah, like doing it as like a full-fledged business since 2019.
Since 2019, high-end cards. He's also a big Dave Ramsey advocate and students, and so we bonded over that a while ago. And actually, the most successful live stream I've ever had was with Coleman as the guest, and I think we had 20,000 views, not live, but total views on that live stream. That was during the peak of sports cards, and I had you on, and you were talking about investing in cards and flipping and all of this when we had, obviously hundreds of thousands of people that were fascinated by that. And yeah, we've been in touch ever since. We've gone out to, restaurants / bars at night and had a couple drinks and just chilled and got to know each other on a more personal level outside of cards. So it's been really cool seeing that friendship develop. But tell us a bit about why you're in Arizona and what's up with you for the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, first off, I just want to say, what's going on, Andy? What's up, Dustin? What's up, JP? What's going on, man? And what's up, Dave? How you doing?
What's up, Coleman? How you doing?
I'll be right back.
But I just want to say, being on that most popular video or whatever, it might have also been because you were wearing a bikini top, and there was a lot of.
So I should go back to that. So
you really went all out for that episode.
Yeah, probably. I'd consider that. Looking. There has to be a correlation there.
The bikini top card investor. I see a new video channel.
If I want clicks, man, if I want clicks and views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in the perfect place for it too. Just cruise on down to Hermosa.
Is getting ready to
any
start.
other beach. Yeah.
But anyway, no, so I've just been, flipping cards and stuff for a while and everything, and still doing it this year, and still just winding in and out of this market as it corrects or goes down or whatever you want to call it. And then in the meantime, I got involved in this very long story, but anyway, I ended up with a house in my home state, Arizona, and I've been just renovating it and furnishing it to get it ready for Airbnb, because I'm still going to be living in LA, and I'm just going to keep this as like a place to come when I come in town and everything like that. But obviously it's very expensive, so I got to make sure it's bringing in money, because I can't think of having something like this and not using it, and so anyway, yeah. But yeah, just working on that right now.
And what do you have planned for next year? Have you thought of 2023 in terms of flipping? Do you have other projects? Do you have other things that you want to focus on, or are you just kind of taking it one day at a time type of thing?
Honestly, this house has a lot of my attention right now. So as far as cards go, I just take it one day at a time. I don't really have any big plans or anything for next year. I kind of just I have sort of a system of what I do, and it works right now, which is just going to all the shows and buying, trading, selling, and listing things on eBay and selling things on IG and stuff. So I got a pretty good system there. So no real crazy vision or anything plans going forward with the cards right now. As far as vision goes, that's on the back holder while I take care of this house situation in Arizona. So I'm just kind of enjoying going back and forth and enjoying all the stress that comes with that and stuff. But yeah, man, that's all I'm doing. Nothing too crazy. So
Coleman, do you have any crazy Brad stories from when you guys went out together? Did you like go home with 7 women or anything nuts that you want to share? This is the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about my personal brand anymore, so whatever.
Yeah.
As I floss my teeth.
Nothing like too crazy. We would go out to this really cool West Hollywood bar called Laurel Hardware, and we just get some drinks and try and sometimes meet women and stuff, or just shoot the breeze and stuff like that. And obviously Brad has many friends and many attractive female friends, just because when you're that good looking, you attract them. So it's always interesting. Like I guess when his friends come and stuff, it's kind of cool just seeing how magnetic he is and stuff, just because his personality and his looks and everything like that.
Damn,
and then
I feel good about myself. This is great. I should continue making
how
videos.
How many of the women referenced the YouTube channel? Like, was it YouTube fans, right? The 1.5% of the females.
Yeah.
You know what everyone references? Those Instagram ads for Cuts. The Cuts t-shirt.
Oh yes.
You failed to get the back end royalties on that. Like they're
Zero
like, you don't want
residuals.
anything moving forward, right? Okay, then we're good. We're out. We're good.
One flat day rate, and yeah. So I'm tied to that. But it was a fun day. I worked with a friend of mine, and so and I negotiated the rate higher than the original amount. But man, they are using those Cuts ads nonstop, every version, every iteration. It's kind of like how I want my legacy and card content to be. Just splice up every bit of the videos, throw it in all your content, and then I'll live forever.
Oh, don't worry, man. I'm all over it.
Appreciate it. Dude, good to see you. Let me see if I can add Austin on as well. Then we could all chat about a couple topics and card related. And if you have to go, feel free to hop off. I just wanted to make sure I got as many people on here as possible and could say hi and bye to you guys publicly. So Austin, if you don't know who Austin is, he has Carlson Cards here on YouTube. He does PSA reveals. I guess every couple of weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks, you're doing a PSA
every
reveal?
week, Brad. Every week, consistency.
Every week. Yeah. Wow. Okay. And tell us a bit about your station and how we got to know each other.
Yeah. So long time watcher of you, like I think many of us here. And it's kind of cool. So you put out it kind of you flew up the bat signal. You said, "Hey, I'm putting together this accountability group for a bunch of men to get together and kind of." I think you painted it as level up together, right? So that's where I first got to know you. Was I joined that with 4 other guys. It was really good timing because I just moved back. I'm working remote, kind of losing that face-to-face interaction. So that was a really good experience to get a chance to meet you more and then talk about goals and, grow together. So I like to think I'm a little mentee of yours out in the works now. So if you leave cards, I'm still out here. But no, it was great time meeting you through that. And I liked it too because our friendship, it's talk about cards, but I think it's been more than that the entire time pretty much, which is nice. This is bad, Paul. This is a laptop here in my parents-in-law house. So it's pretty bad. But yeah,
I taught him better though in terms of video content. It's usually a lot brighter and well lit when he's recording.
It still looks better than Dustin's Commodore.
I try to teach Dustin. He's not coachable.
Look, I don't need to upgrade. The floppy disk works just fine. The dial-up modem is working just fine, guys.
Yeah, I was going to say then, Brad, through that accountability group, I kept mentioning I kind of had an interest in YouTube, and you really gave me that push to just try it out. And I was amazed. So I've been, putting out videos every week, taking it seriously for about 3 or 4 months now. It's been a blast to do PSA reveals, pretty much just my journey of kind of like Coleman, where grade, sell, then buy for my collection long-term. And then, if I can pay rent with cards, that's great too. But ultimately it's a good mix of collecting and then flipping, graded by grading cards. That's kind of been my content so far. And I like to say no bullshit. It's just straight videos. I'm not telling anyone anything what to buy. I'm just kind of entertaining people with the grades I get in my videos. So.
Yeah, man. And it's been great helping you grow your channel and at least get it off its feet. Let me see if I could share the screen now so people can see your station. And
appreciate that.
There we go. So you do every 9 days, 2 days ago, and then what? You have tomorrow? Or is it when's the 19th?
No, Tuesday. I finished it today. I'm like, I'll throw the premiere up there. I'll leave it up there for a couple days. That's for next week.
How did that 10-part submission go? It was like a 500 card PSA submission. What was the results of that?
Yeah, PSA was shut down. I was stocking up on cards, and then I got the worst grader ever. I sent 500 cards. I got like 30%. It wasn't that bad, 30% tens, but it was a blast sharing that. But it ended up being good. I did a recap video. I think I do real solid on it. So it was nice to kind of dive into the financials, kind of inspired by how you used to do your early videos. So yeah, that was a good time.
Right on, man. And what are your goals for next year? Do you have any card related goals, or obviously you have your show as well. Tell us about the show that you host.
Yeah, so I run a card show too. So I mentioned I moved back to Wisconsin. I work remote here now. There's no card shows in the area, so I started one. We have one actually on Saturday, 65 tables, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. So I'm excited next year to just continue to keep that show consistent, especially as the market as a whole seems to be kind of quieting down, but locally here, the people who come are just a blast to interact with. So keep that going, and then pretty much just scale up the YouTube, and then be smart about how much time I'm spending on cards. Maybe waste less time and be more productive with the time I'm spending in cards. It's kind of my goals here.
Right on, man. Very cool. Well, dude, I want to actually talk about different topics now that there's 7 of us. I didn't even know StreamYard would allow 7 of us.
We're about to break it, I think.
Yeah. I'm getting my $10 a month value right here off of this one stream. All those 3-hour streams that Andy was doing every single day or like 3 times a week, I'm getting the value just from this one stream. But for one, who's going to win the World Cup, France or Argentina? Anyone have France?
It's going to be France, but I want Argentina. That's the sad truth.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same.
So Messi's not going to win, Jeremy?
I have no idea. Argentina.
Andy, I know it's like Jeremy. It's like we're not talking about hockey. Andy, we're not talking about this football. We're talking about the other football. France, Argentina. Mention one.
Who's Messi on? Messi. Whose team is Messi on?
He's French, obviously.
He plays for the Seahawks.
Okay, Argentina. Chris?
I actually don't follow soccer at all, but I'm going to say that Messi cleans it up.
Okay. I did see, I have been watching the World Cup only at the gym when I'm on a stationary bike, because it's a good way to just burn calories and watch something that's slightly less boring than the wall. But I mean, it's really close depending on who's playing. But Messi had a really sick assist in the last game I saw. And I was like, all right, this guy is talented. So I'm hoping Messi wins just because he's one guy I know. And I will say, when I went to Industry Summit, not this year, but the year before, I think it was from Prestige Auctions, I won a Messi autographed jersey. And it's certified and authenticated through Beckett. But if I have that autographed jersey in my it's actually in my dresser drawer, which I need to hang it up.
Oh, wow. I thought you might have sold it.
I intended to. I just didn't get around to it.
Like, I was just too lazy to sell it for like 10 grand.
Same error. Same error with cards is just when that window of opportunity to sell at a profit or at least at a higher amount comes. A lot of times I'm like, I'll list it next week or I'll list it tomorrow. And then of course, like the window closes, everyone lists on eBay, the player goes 0 for 9 that night, and then all of a sudden the prices drop and it's over. And so same kind of thing where it's easy to buy cards. You got to be more disciplined on the selling side, which I wasn't. Okay. What about NHL? Let's see. We got Michael Stone here. Who's winning the Stanley Cup this year, Jeremy?
God, it's tough this year. The league's pretty balanced right now. I mean, I would have said the Colorado Avalanche before the season started. I'm not sure. McKinnon's hurt. Your Tampa Bay Lightning, Brad. I still like them for the Cup. The Bruins, Shane O'Mac, I see, says the Bruins. That's a good call too. I mean, there's so much parity in the league right now. So I think I might actually go with Shane O'Mac and say the Bruins look the best at this point.
Jay Lee, do you think Ovechkin's going to pass Gretzky here?
I do, Coleman. I mean, a couple of years ago, even on my show, on my channel, I was saying I don't think he's going to do it. But he scored 50 last year. He's 94 away right now, and he's on pace for over 50 goals this year. He's signed. I think this is year 2 of 5 of a contract. So I think he's going to do it. I think he's motivated and he wants it badly, and I think the sports world wants it for him. So I think he's going to do it.
How old was Gretzky when he retired?
I'm not exact. Probably like,
come on, Jeremy.
38, 39, somewhere in there.
Okay, so 38, 39. Ovechkin's what, 37?
I think so.
So 37 in 2022 with the technology in terms of health and injuries and that kind of stuff, because we're seeing Tom Brady at 45 still be able to play, and he was never mobile, but it's like he's still able to play. Ovechkin, 3 more years seems pretty reasonable based on the technology of keeping players healthier and their diets and their fitness and their mobility and all that stuff. So
he could play for past this contract and still beat 15-20 goals a year. He could beat Gretzky's record and then some. Like, he could finish with, who knows, from 20 to 100 more goals than Gretzky if he keeps playing.
I mean, look at Jágr. He's like 75. He's still playing.
Yeah.
He should have been inducted into the Hall of Fame 5 times by now.
That's right.
Is he still playing? Jaromir
He's still
Jágr?
playing. Yeah, he's still playing.
NHL or like another league?
That's why he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, because he's still playing in another league.
He plays for the team that he owns in the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
So they can't actually bench him. If he
they can't bench him.
I'll bring this whole place down.
It's like Putin's team.
Yeah, exactly.
You did great again, Putin. Man, just another great game. Unbelievable.
Don't know how you did it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. We'll talk a little bit about cards in terms of I like to end with like bold prediction or one wish you had, just as like a general thing to see where your minds are at. But we got to talk about the Super Bowl. Andy, who's winning the Super Bowl this year?
Who's winning it? Whoa, man. Dude, it's going to be so hard to deny teams like the Buffalo Bills. They're so hungry for it, but you got Cincinnati playing really well. Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs are still on top. And the NFC, man, look at the Eagles. Look at the Cowboys, how good their defense is. It's going to be crazy, man. This is going to be one of the crazier postseasons and stretches coming into the playoffs that we've seen in quite some time. And you can never rule Tom Brady out. Shit, I mean, he's below 500, but somehow still in the lead of the NFC South. So,
So what does that mean?
So
pick an answer.
Did you make a pick?
All right. I go with the winner. I'm gonna give it to the Buffalo Bills this year.
Okay, I was gonna say, if this is a political debate, I'm like, okay, what's your point? What's your answer? How are we gonna fix the economy? No, there's a lot of things. Tell me the plan right now. Okay, Buffalo Bills. Dustin?
All right, so I think the AFC, loaded with talent, is going to beat each other up in the playoffs. But I agree, there's a lot of great teams, Chiefs, Bills, etc. But I think the 49ers are going to have an easier road in, and I think the Niners, even with Purdy or whoever the hell plays quarterback for them, I think if I stepped out there, they could probably win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to pick the 49ers. I just think like right now, if they stay healthy, Samuel comes back, McCaffrey stays healthy, the defense is rocking. Yeah, I'm going to go with them.
What about you, Chris?
Well, I always want Lamar to do well. I have a lot of good Lamar cards, a big fan of Lamar, love him as a person, like to see him doing the disco ballet dancing. But I got to say, I think Mahomes is going to do it if he doesn't get Achilles heel by Burrow, because he can't beat Burrow. That's it. Burrow just burrows through. You got to beat him. But I think Mahomes is prime for the taking this season.
Jeremy, pretend you watch football and name a city. Name
a
random city. There's a good chance that there's a team there.
As the NFL expert on the screen right now, I'm going to choose I was going to go with the Kansas City as well with Mahomes and the Chiefs. That would be my pick.
He's on point.
And I have no context for that.
There you go.
I actually, Brad, when you started the question, I brought up ESPN. I went to the standings to see who my choices were.
I mean, that's pretty much like Vegas odds. Whatever the Vegas odds are, it's like, okay, well, they do way more work and have a lot more to lose than I do. So might as well just go with one of them. Austin, what about you?
Yeah, so Dustin already stole mine. I was going to say 49ers plus whatever corpse they can put out there at quarterback. That's probably my pick.
It's going to be Christian McCaffrey at quarterback in the next couple of weeks.
Wildcat.
Dude, that guy Purdy, when the Niners versus the Bucks, that was such a brutal game. But at the same time, you have to root for that guy Purdy because you saw his parents just crying in the stands based on how well he was playing in a game in his first start against Tom Brady.
His dad is younger than Tom Brady.
Yeah. Tom Brady should have bent him over his lap and beat him with a ruler.
Hey, you got to give it to Panini, man. Purdy already was printed in several sets. How they knew Mr. Relevant was somehow going to be relevant was beyond me. But yeah, Purdy's got some rookie cards out there that are just insanely expensive now.
Those were just filler cards. Those were just filler cards that just turned out to work for right now. And then I'm sure in 3 weeks they'll be worthless again. But anyway, Coleman, who do you got?
I'll take Bengals. They got a lot of talent that they're gonna have to pay, I think, next year or the year after that. So it's either this year for them or never. So why not?
Bengals. And unrelated, but how much would you pay on Airbnb for a room that is decorated like the one Coleman is in? Just wondering. Feedback.
Wait, for when? Right now or the Super Bowl? Because the Super Bowl is happening here in Arizona. So
no, right now. Just throughout the year. Based on this furnished room, that leopard print couch that you do not want to use a blue light on.
It's a blanket. See, look, it's a blanket. It's like a green.
But it sets a precedent. It sets a precedent of expectation.
Put the blanket on. That's even worse.
I was going to offer $200 a night, and now I'm ready to offer $150.
Is that the couch from that '70s show?
You're good. You got it.
Do you have a copy of Time magazine on the table?
No, I need to. That's a good.
Okay. Yeah, you need a magazine. It looks like it went from like nightclub to doctor's office in 3 seconds.
Oh, dang it.
No, you could go back to nightclub in another 3 seconds. It's easy.
But it wasn't like a nice nightclub. It was like the shady part of town where hookers meet truckers nightclub.
Right. Bring a rifle to defend against the Cougars. They're out there, and who knows where they're putting the watches.
Which is like actual cougar? Because first you were saying because the blanket. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Any topics that you guys have real quick on cards or anything sports related that you want to just throw out to the group? Andy?
Yes, Brad. Does this mean I have to get my own StreamYard account?
Well, since we share YouTube accounts, I'd rather just keep paying StreamYard, and Dustin can use that, and you can use it as well. And then I just leech off of your YouTube account because that really helps.
That sounded a little bit like a political answer. Does that mean yes? I get to keep the StreamYard account?
You can use it on as long as you keep your YouTube TV account.
Okay, deal.
There it is. Okay. Let's say bold prediction for next year in the card world. Jeremy, you actually know cards more than anyone else here probably. So bold prediction for sports cards next year.
We'll find something out about the Fanatics Panini relationship. Something's got to give over there. I think we find that out next year.
Not this year.
No, it's too late into December with holidays coming up at this point. I think we're going to find out something in 2023, probably early, probably Q1, Q2, in terms of what the structure of that relationship is going to look like moving forward. I think, listen, it's pretty easy. I'm taking the easy way out with that one. I think something has to happen there. So that, I don't know how bold that prediction is, but I think that's something we look forward to hearing.
That wasn't bold at all. I'm disappointed. Andy, what about you? How about a wish or a bold prediction?
Yeah, this one. So football cards are going to continue to take away from the other sports in a sense that, I mean, like pull away in terms of, I would just say, sold volume and average sale price when you talk about, you know, the variety of different players and cards, right? So I'm gonna say that football is going to continue to grow as the hottest sport in sports cards, American football.
Not
That's
a homer pick
shocking take from Andy.
Man, we got to get something good. Dustin, help me out here.
All right. In the ultimate irony, Fanatics is going to hire Brad to run content for them moving forward. He gets out of content and they bring him in to run content.
That would be sweet. That would be hilarious. And then I find a way to fire Dustin. I don't know. I start my own channel that is just based on making fun of Dustin, and it goes viral.
I have all these troll channels all of a sudden that are all over me, or actually additional ones, I should say.
What about you, Austin?
So it's a bold prediction and a hope. I think PSA is going to get back to $9 or $10 a card. My $15 orders are taking 1 month. I mean, they're just flying right now. So I don't think they can sustain at this price.
So you think because they'll have to lay off too many people and downsize in order to keep that price, that they would rather just do the $9 or $10 price points and keep the volume higher?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think volume higher is good, right? They're slabs advertised for themselves. I think the more out there is good for them. So I think if they're going to have more people and higher output, I think it's better for them. I think they'll do it.
Okay.
I mean, there's a reason they kept the $15. It was going to end in December, and I was all ready to, you know, send a whole bunch off, and they extended it. I mean, there's a reason. It's not due to demand; it's due to lack of demand, in my opinion. So we'll see.
Well, you know, what's interesting is, like, I remember when we had Card Collector 2 on, and we were talking about the backlog and the prices, and that my whole thought was, if you have this infrastructure and all these new people and all this money and like all this right now, you have to downsize a ton after the backlog because you have all these cards you have to catch up on. But then what? So there has to be a price that you have to drop to, unless you're willing to just lay off a ton of people at once. And maybe they're going to like downsize the graders and the operations to meet at a point that makes sense, like $12 a card or something. But yeah, they got to do something. They can't just triple their operations and then run out of cards to grade. So that'd be pretty cool for the entire hobby, though, if grading goes down to $9 or $10 a card. What about you, Chris?
I think that it's funny that we're talking about PSA because the whole time I'm like, man, what's my bold prediction? And it's going to be that PSA loses more market share in the sports card space than people may believe. I think there's a lot of competition. You know, you've got stuff like Tag and simply other companies doing just as well with just as accurate grading. And at the end of the day, that's all the consumer really wants. Like, yeah, they want the highest price card. PSA has traditionally held that spot. But if the grading is accurate, and the turnaround and the experience is good, then people are still going to be happy with that. And once those cards start hitting a price in the market to rival PSA, then I believe that PSA will probably lose some market share with everything going on in that regards. But I do think they will also expand into grading other things and continue to be a beast doing that. Like now they're grading Funko Pops, and still nobody is grading lunchboxes except for CAS on the sly. So I think there's still plenty of stuff. I'm not sure if the VHS thing really took off other than, you know, maybe like Star Wars, Back to the Future, whatever. But I think there's a lot of collectibles out there that aren't being graded still that can be and be run through these big auction houses. And I think that PSA maybe loses a little market share in cards next year. Okay.
And Coleman, what's your bold prediction? Make it good. You're the last person. Don't make it suck. It can't end on something sucky.
Well, I have two bold predictions.
It's going to be on that couch either way. Sorry. Apologize.
We need you back, Chris.
I'm sorry.
Number one is that Panini will make less parallels. So instead of having all these different parallels like that Prism and Select and Optic have, they're going to make less. And then my second bold prediction is that Brock Purdy meets Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game and beats him and goes to the Super Bowl. And then Brock Purdy cards become more valuable than Tom Brady cards. That's my second bold prediction.
That is bold. I mean, I thought you were going to say, and then Brock Purdy is found dead after beating Tom Brady, and he's dead in his room. And
Can I get a moon check?
Wow.
I need to see if the moon is full.
We got to end on the darkest note possible.
just going dark. Yeah, I've been absorbing too much dark humor lately. It's bad. My IG is just filled with animals, like interspecies relationships, like monkeys and ducks getting along, and then dark humor, and that's pretty much my IG.
I was going a whole different direction
targeted
with that
ads?
interspecies relationships, Brad.
Is that like targeted advertising, or is that random?
I don't know what I can buy, like a duck.
I don't know. What are you wearing? What sneakers do you have on?
You're like, are you worried that anyone is like, that watches a serial killer? You've been the serial killer the whole time.
Anyway, guys, I want a smile for a picture. I'm going to post it on Instagram. Maybe I'll forget, but maybe I don't forget. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Guys, thanks so much for joining me. Again, Off-Centered will continue on Dustin's channel. He's going to probably destroy it, but, until then, it'll, check it out, watch it. He's going to have some great hosts on there, great guests, and I'll be lingering around. I just got to focus on a couple other things, and maybe I will be back someday, but I'll definitely be more than likely in Mint Collective, Southern California shows, and definitely want to meet as many of you in person as possible, because for me, it's never really about the card. It was always about the people that I got to know along the way and the relationships built, and that's the most special part for me. So really appreciate you joining me on this journey. Make sure to connect with all these guys, and I will see you guys maybe never. Who knows? See ya.
See you later. Thanks, Brad.